Hello and welcome to some Dyson Sphere Program. My name is Magistus, and this is my series where I am playing the game through again, having played it when it came out on stream, and now I am playing through again now that they've done a few updates, in particular having introduced blueprints to the game. I'm going to load it up now. Is this the one? I was fiddling. I've played quite a bit during the week because we needed to crack on, really. Hang on 1 second. Got the wrong thing selected over there. Can't see me chat. I mentioned on yesterday's Factorio stream, I think the streams of the weekend were atrocious. Basically, I was on tenterhooks awaiting some news related to my family that I had absolutely no idea whether it was going to go positive or negative. And literally 10 minutes ago, it's gone positive. So I am in a better place mentally than I was at the weekend, but it means I have rushed. Why is that camera being very, very weird? Stop being very, very weird, camera. Where's the edge there? Oh, that'll do. Yes, so I've had good news. So mentally I am relieved. Yeah, mentally I'm okay, or better. I don't know I'm ever mentally okay, but I'm better. It really was one of those weekends. As I was explaining before, it was my company work due, and partly because of the news, and partly because of circumstances, etc., etc. I couldn't drink at it, and I'll be totally honest, it wasn't very good. Oh, why is that light gone off? There we go, that's a bit better. I'm the pale blob that I am now. Yes, so, yeah, the Christmas do wasn't all that good. So, you know, normally I drink and that kind of compensates a bit, but the food was a bit rubbish, if I'm honest. I mean, not bad rubbish, but, you know, I don't know what they paid for it, but whatever it was overpriced, because it was fairly measly portions and had slight pretensions of chefiness that weren't kind of deserved. It was nothing special. It had some venison, because there's like a lot of deer parks around here, and venison, just like venison's a thing. But the venison was horrible. It was really stringy. Not the biggest fan of venison, full stop, but it was like really, I wouldn't have eaten that slice of venison that I got. What else? There was a cheesecake for dessert. I didn't have it, but we ended up with, because a lot of people dropped out because of COVID and stuff. And it was like, it just fell apart. There was no structure to it. What was the starter? The starter was just like a boring soup, like potato and parsnip soup, basically. Neither of which are particularly interesting vegetables. And it was massively under-seasoned. So yeah, it wasn't that great a meal, and I couldn't get drunk to compensate for it, you know. And then we had the Grand Prix on Sunday, and that was, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. I'm not actually disappointed in the result, sort of thing, but it kind of highlighted the like whatchamacallit. I keep wanting to call it refereeing, but the stewards have been so inconsistent this year. It's just all over the place. You know, you get exactly the same incident happens, you know, in a different race, and you get a different, you know, verdict on what the, like, well, even if there's even going to be any punishment, you know. And it's just like, well, because one of the things with Formula One, and it's one of the things new watchers struggle a bit with, I think, is that a lot of it is very down to interpretation, and it's deliberately like that. They keep a lot of the rules quite vague, and open to interpretation. And what happens is you go to each race, and it's local stewards, basically. And so obviously they have different interpretations or different feelings on the rules. And there have been calls to do like professional, have professional stewards, basically, so that at least it's consistent. But one of the things the tracks like to have is control on their own stewards, you see. Anyway, so basically, I've been playing this a little bit during the week, particularly early in the week. And what I've done, essentially, is put in a few... So, this arrangement here is basically repeated on the other planets in our system, except that I've put in appropriate numbers of things. So, these, whatever they're called... I can't remember what it calls these, but the super magnets or whatever it's called. You basically need... Well, you don't need quite two. The recipe is slightly off, but... So there's like one of these on each planet, 2 of them, and then 4 of them supporting that chain, and then an additional 1 of them and 2 of them. I think I remembered to put all of those in, supporting them as well. And I've set all of the logistics up so that we can pull the resources in, and they're flying around. I've hopefully also mostly done those. I think I've forgotten on some of them, but I've also put in. I've tweaked like whether some of the planets were demanding things or supplying things, and basically because these are like the foundation, the building blocks of everything that you make. As you can see, my inventory's all full with lots and lots of stuff. I've queued up the research basically, so this is what we're going to next. But yeah, so basically there's not too much more on this planet, I don't think. Not too many changes here. I think I did do this. No, that was before, wasn't it? There was something I added that was sort of significant. It might have been this. I don't think this was here before. This is just producing sulfuric acid, basically, and a lot of the building blocks. But the big thing I did on this planet, on our home planet, was to do with power. Because we started to run out of juice on the other planets. So what I've done, if I can find it, can I find it? It's somewhere near one of the turbines. Oh, here you go. Well, so this is sort of it. This is providing hydrogen. It must be. It's somewhere at the close at the top. Is this it? No. That's not it, is it? Where the heck is my power thing? Maybe it's at the other end. It's not here, is it? No, that's graphene. So we need to get like... Oh, here we go. No. Where the heck is it? I need to get like... Oh, here we go. Is that literally where I am? No, it's right on the other side of the planet. I lost it now. Here we go. So what we've got... This is a fusion generator, basically. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling in... I mean, this is obviously the build area for the... for the bots and planetary logistics and all that sort of stuff. But this is a set of burners. And what they're burning is essentially excess hydrogen fuel containers. So the things I've got, I'm now using mostly for power. And I'm feeding them into one of these. And this has then got, some of these hydrogen, fuel packs, as it were, as well as this is also dividing hydrogen up. This is the hydrogen runoff from the first bit of graphene production we had. And there's a whole complicated setup. I'm sort of using these like logistics circuits in Factorio, but basically like excess. So it's prioritizing the other stuff so that we don't get backup, and then it's filling in the belt. This is hydrogen, obviously, and then it's making these. I've boosted these up to, I think they're the top level actually, but so that we can get those made quickly, and that I've then always got a few available, except I haven't. It looks like they've all gone into there, which is fine. That's not too much of a problem, because the other thing we've done, and what I'm using the rest of the hydrogen for, is some fractionation. So this is new. And basically what it's doing is you have these machines take in hydrogen, right, goes through, and then there's a percentage chance, much like U230, whatever it is, 5 in Factorio when you're doing the nuclear stuff. There's a percentage that it generates a deuterium. So this is hydrogen, and this is deuterium. Deuterium is an isotope of hydrogen, basically. And it's only like a 1% chance, but as you can see, I've got max, this is top level belt, so it's absolutely blasting through here. And every time one comes in, there's a 1% chance that it converts it to deuterium. And as you can see, we've got 5 machines, and so they are trickling out a fairly decent supply of deuterium. There's a better machine you can use, but it's massively power hungry. And what this cycle is doing here is basically pushing the hydrogen through all of these machines. And so as you can see, there's like a gap that appears. But what you also have to do, in my version of a simple setup, is pull stuff off of the belt, because this can easily get log jammed. Because if all the hydrogen goes in, right, and none of it gets converted, what happens with belts is they stop moving. So the belts themselves don't actually move material. If nothing happens, if you create a loop of the belt, stuff doesn't actually move around unless you create a gap in it. So if you have a circumstance where all of that hydrogen goes through and nothing is created, which is a relatively remote chance, but it basically backs up. So you have to have, or in this simple version, you have to have something that's burning the hydrogen just to create a gap in the belt, basically. And then obviously any gaps that are being created are being filled by the excess overflow here. Now this then is, deuterium is coming along here and being turned into some nuclear fuel. And some of that nuclear fuel I am feeding into a fusion generator. These produce a massive amount of power. That's like 240 megawatts rather? Megabytes. 240 megawatts, I think it is. Oh no, it's only 15 megawatts. Oh, that's right, because this is 2.16 megawatts. So it's, I don't know where I got that number from, but what's that? If that's 2.25-ish, then it'd be 4.5, 9, 30. So it's like 7 of these, basically, power coming out of it. So it is using some of it up. And then on every planet, there's both a demand for these, which is why there's not too many stocks. It's also, having them in here is better because I can just grab them now. Whereas you can't do that from them. You can grab stuff remotely from these. But yeah, so as you see there, so they've just blasted off to another planet where they're being burnt there. And then similar with these are being requested over. But this is only like a tiny amount being requested, so we've got loads of these. So basically I've got 2 sources of, like much more better power. And as such, this is what's going on here. I'm still using a bit of this because, I started these up and all of it disappeared to other planets. So, but this lasts ages because it's 600 megajoules versus 54 megajoules. So it's 10 times as much power. And I say, which is why it's a good ratio. It's a good thing to use because, you're making them out of 20 hydrogen. Oh, sorry, 10 hydrogen. And this is 20 deuterium, but you get way more power out of it than you've put in, basically. Equivalent, material that you've put in. Right, so I've just spent a quarter of an hour explaining everything. So we get on with something. The reason we're over here is because I need to start these researches. And what I've queued up is basically, so this particle control technology, which then lets me do purple cubes. So we can set purple cubes up. If we want to do that. The other thing I've queued up is this one, strange matter, which gives us the strange particles, strange matter particles, and then again that's deuterium. So we're probably going to have to build more deuterium stuff. What we really want to do is get these unlocked as well to support that, because the gas giants will bring in loads of hydrogen. But I just queued up the immediate ones. And once we've got strange matter, then we can do gravitational wave reflection, which gives us the warpers, so we can fly off to some other planets. And I can just hand make them. You don't use that many in flying. We'll just make some stacks, basically. of them. And then what I'll add on now is, because what we want is this, as say, to bring in lots of hydrogen. Because although we've ended up backed up with hydrogen, it won't actually last all that long. It soon eats through it. So what we need to do is uncue that one up, and I think that's it. You then got the interstellar power transfer. Can I do that one as well? I can. What about you? Yes, okay. I can put all of them on. Okay. Yeah, so this is the one we want. And again, I can just make sort of hand make 5 of those. You know, and stick them on the gas giant, and that'll help us out there. But the basic reason for being over here is because we're going to need to make these. Can I show it? I guess, yeah. So we're going to need to make these. We've already got. Am I making crystal silicon? Yeah, I think I am, aren't I? Because it feeds into. Is it yellow science? I'm pretty sure I've got some of them being made. If not, it's relatively easy to set up. It's just like double smelting, basically. But yeah, so what it also needs is these guys, the particle broadband. And say, that means we need to do the old graphite. We need to do nanotubes and plastic. And we've got a small amount of plastic. And plastic is obviously oil. And we've got, in fact, don't I need to... Oh, no, there it is. So I have unlocked high-strength materials. And that's titanium and graphene, you see. So that's more oil stuff. So the reason we're over here is we're going to set up some oil while it chunks through on the things. So I did build a couple oil extractors. What I do need to work out is where am I going to put this? And we've basically got a grouping of 5 that I'm going to stick these on. I think if we build it sort of starting here and going across maybe, and we can have the oil processing there and then the actual recipe ones on that side maybe. Let's give that a go anyway. So I'll put one there. In fact, I'll probably, if I have them all, these 3 anyway, come down together. Because I think we can use a level 2 belt, because that's 12 a second, and we've got 2.2, so we've got 5.3, and then 8.4, something like that. Oh, hello, Grim. How you doing? Welcome back. Yeah, so we got less than... Basically, a level 2 belt will put all of these together, I think. I need to be careful with the water, because I don't want to... we're going to need that. But we're going to need it over there, I guess. Right. Why have you not... Oh, you have built that. Okay. Weird. Right, so if I put this... Where? Maybe if I put a fluid thing there. And sort of have them all feed into that. I was saying earlier, I am a lot better than I was this weekend. I was expecting some news, sort of family-related news, shall we say. And it was messing with my head, I think, if I'm totally honest. But it's turned out okay. It's not an issue, if you see what I mean. So I'm a lot happier. Right, so we also need to get some power on these, so they're not going to produce anything. But yeah, it wasn't. It's been a very, very strange weekend. Overall, partly that and partly. The Christmas party was weird, if I'm honest. I'm not quite sure why they ploughed ahead with it. Because there's another gathering on Tuesday, supposedly. And they've been that, obviously, because, the advice has changed. But, I don't know. It's not Not my decision, I guess, but anyone who thought it wasn't going to change was surely being a bit delusional. Because all you have to do is look at them graphs that they're always putting on the the news and stuff, and you can clearly see it's not going well. And quite how the NHS is supposed to be now going to deliver, what was it, 30 million vaccines in like 20 days or something. Anyway, that's politics and that's beside the point. Right, so what we want to do then, we want a bit of... Now, what do I actually want in terms of... Because obviously I can use the secondary, thing, secondary recipe. Because I'm just going to bring this round here and basically run it that way. So sort of our first machine is going to be sort of here maybe. And then we'll have a, one here. So this belt is going to have to come that way. But we won't put it in yet. So we can feed in like that. The question is, well, actually probably not sensible to do it there. The question is whether I'm gonna like stack up the recipes and how much hydrogen I want versus light oil and or whatever it calls it, purified oil or whatever. Do I need carbon? I can't even remember what you make plastic out of. Oh, carbon as well. Okay. So them... Oh, that's sulfuric acid. Okay, because I've got separate productions for them, so I don't really need to make graphene out of this. In fact, I think I've got graphene as well somewhere. So am I just making plastic? Let's have a look at the recipe again. The technology one. So we need for this, we need carbon. We need plastic, and we need the carbon nanotubes. And we make the carbon nanotubes out of graphene and titanium. I can make them elsewhere, so we could focus on making this a plastic build. I'm just wondering if maybe what I could do, you see, is I could actually use these three for plastic and the other two for more graphene and sulfur and stuff. Because then basically this is just oil. I don't, and I just need to get rid of the hydrogen rather than... That's good. You did say, I guess the threat of news is worse than the actual news. Yeah, it's the not knowing that kills you, not the actual stab in the dark. But yeah, no, it was quite, I mean, it's that, and everyone has it. I'm not saying, it's not exclusive to me, but it's that thing of, is it going to be good news? Is it going to be bad news? What's happening, as it were? I'm quite a long way away from my family, so it's not like I could, sort of go with the person, as it were, if that makes sense. Just having to wait for the news. Yeah, it's all turned out okay. Oh, there we go then. You have mastered the particle control technology. Can make particle motion have certain regularity. I really need to work on a translation for this. Right. How do I want to build this? So if we have one of these... Because if all this is going to take in, you see, is coal. Have I actually got some coal? I have got coal here, look. So I could feed that in directly. Because what I'm actually thinking is rather than do this like that, we sort of feed it in here. Oops. So take the oil in there. I don't know if it would be... What's the ratios on it? So it takes in... Oh, you can't see in that, can you? It takes in 2 and puts out 2. And 1. Okay. Because we can have the hydrogen. We don't need the hydrogen for anything, I don't think. But we can have it going out the other way, basically. Oh, we've got the edge. Okay. Okay, let's move this down one then. If I'm not going to use this side, I can move it down several, actually. So grab that. And then move it down, say, to there. Oh, I need to be careful of that, actually. So probably there. So basically I'm thinking I feed the hydrogen out, you know, this way. I'm saying we can just stick it in another logistics thing. And we have 2 of these, you know, feeding onto the one, feeding hydrogen there. We have the crude oil coming that way, and we use it all up. The outputs onto that, which is the processed oil. And then I also feed round, probably with one of those belts, some carbon, you know, some whatever he calls them, graphite-y things. And then we can actually have the chemical plants lined up along here. Let's make sure there's enough, you know, being produced to support one of them before we start building them. So it was 2 to 2, wasn't it? But how long does it take? So it's 4 seconds. And a plastic requires 2. It takes 3 seconds. Oh no, nasty ratios. So it requires 2 and takes 3 seconds. So single machine wouldn't be able to support it, but 2 would. Okay. Okay, so this is making plastic. Until lockdown, yeah. Oh god, I really... I mean... Well, I mean, you know... Not to get, again, sort of political on it, but, you know, we came out of lockdown down way too fast and, you know... Everybody stopped wearing masks and that way too quickly. I mean, not radically so, but we should have... What one do I want here? Because it's carbon, you see. It's like the processed carbon. It's not coal. So what I could do, if it'll fit, is use one of these. Because I've now got carbon in a bunch of things. We could put it there. And then this could actually be the oil coming in, you know, from the oil wells. Somewhere that way. And then hydrogen. If we move it up one, that's going to get annoying, isn't it? So if we move that, yes. So if we move this go up a level. Chop that back. Do the old bunny hop. Might have to upgrade some of this belt, but that's fine. And then we can put this. No, we can't. We put it there. And feed it in the other way. Will that work? Hopefully. So this is the hydrogen going into it for disposal. This would be your carbon coming out. Yeah, that makes sense, I think. yeah, I really hope we don't go into lockdown, because it was really... I mean, I'm not... How can I put it? I'm not necessarily that big a fan of Christmas. It doesn't mean anything to me on a religious, in a religious sense. More power to people, if, to who it does. I'm not, not criticising anything there, but I'm an atheist. It doesn't mean anything to me. But it's an opportunity to get together with the family, who, as I say, live a fair distance away. So I like it from that point of view. And eat gigantic amounts of, food and all those good things. So we go in there. And out there, maybe? In there. Out there. Yeah, that'll work. In fact, I don't need that one then, do I? And it was pretty miserable. Well, it was especially miserable given supposedly it was all sorted out and, everything was fine and all that sort of stuff. And then suddenly, no, Christmas is cancelled. You can't go see your family or anything. That's not allowed anymore. That was the worst bit of it for me. Right, so I guess let's see how many of these I can get. So this bell, so we skip that. So it's that one again. And then that there. See, what I'd like to do is blueprint these, but the blueprinting is just so rubbish. I'm not going to bother. It's easy just to copy and paste rather than mess about with the blueprint system. So this was going to take 2, wasn't it? So it takes 2 every 4 seconds. So basically every second it wants half an oil. And I'm making 3... so what's that? 5.25, 8.35. Call it 9. Well, call it 8. And then that's 2, 4, 6, 8. So actually there's too much there. Oh no, it's half per second, wasn't it? So it's actually going to support 16. So 2, 4, 6. Might have to upgrade some of that belt. Oh, hello, Mario 1914. Oh no, here we go. Yeah, marvellous. Another spam bot. Let's get you banned. What? No? What? Here we go. Damn things. How do I close that now? How do I close that? Oh no, that's gone wrong. No, it's gone even wronger. There we go. Hang on. Why can't I get the edge of that? There it is. Silly thing. You're famous, baby. Yeah. Good old Duke. I mean, I guess it must work. It's like I used to very briefly. I did like door-to-door canvassing. I mean, very briefly. I absolutely hated it and had to do it more to prove a point than actually wanting to do it. But the guy was telling me about there, because they did all sorts of rubbish like that. So all the what do you call them? Like leaflets, when that you put through doors and in magazines and all that sort of stuff. And you sort of or I sort of always thought, really, that, you know, everyone just chucked them in the bin. But they do actually work. And it's like you only need, because leaflets in particular are so cheap to make, you know, in volume. You only need like 0.1% of people to do them. You know, for like to respond. And so it's effectively, it's almost like one person out of, you know, 10,000 leaflets type thing. It's that sort of scale of thing. And you basically paid for the cost of printing the leaflets, you know. So even if, you know, 99.9% of people just chuck them away. 6, 8, 10. You only need a couple to make it worthwhile, basically. And obviously, you know, I mean, you presumably do get some people who, I don't know, maybe aren't, you know, fully, I don't know, cognizant, as it were. But all you have to do, you know, if there's one person who does need their Windows doing sort of thing, you know, there were Windows replacing or whatever. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Then it's not, you know, it's not wasted on them, is it? It's not spam mail to someone who needs it, sort of thing. But yeah, I guess, you know, so I guess there are people who do, you know, pay for that service, sort of thing. But it just seems a bit daft, that one, to me, that. So I'm probably going to have to update that belt. I mean, shouldn't they do it in order to become partnered or whatever? Whatever it's called. But yeah. I'm sure, well, you would think Twitch or whatever would have a way of working out what were genuine follows. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15. So we get 3 more in. So let's copy that one in. That one. Last one. And it would be quicker to do it with Blueprint. But it's just such a pain of a system. That working out the Blueprint is a bit too painful for me. But this copy and paste is sufficiently good. But that's a better way of doing it. So in there. Okay. So hopefully those are all correct. We'll soon see. Because there'll be a bit of pollution. So I'm going to have to upgrade that belt, aren't I? Because if they're putting out 1 each, you know, every 2 seconds, that's 9. And this can only handle 6. So we're going to need to upgrade the belt. So I might as well do that then. I don't need to upgrade all of it though, do I really? Oh, let's just do it. Let's just do it. So that does actually need to be that one. Let's just leave a bit there in case I do need to extend it a bit. And then that's already the appropriate level of belt. This is the other one, so that's going to have to go up as well, isn't it? Because it's 2 to 2. So, well, that's going to get used up, but yeah, let's just do the business. We got level 2 belt now, so might as well use it. And then, yeah, just keep that as all level 2, I think. So I probably have to re-extend them because this is not going to be in the right. In fact, I am, aren't I? I'm going to have to put them back in. Oh well. So if this is making plastic. Am I feeding it into this machine? I guess I am, aren't I? So if we run along there, and then collide with other object, because colliding with other object is what we do, apparently. No, you're being a bit of a pain, are you? In fact, again, is that going to need to be level 2? I guess it is, isn't it? Right, so this is the plastic one. How many of these can we actually support? It's more maths time. Math time with Triz. Right, so. Oh, that's the purple science done. Cool. So. What does it need? It needs 2 processed and one of those. So that one is there, so we can just feed that into right, but we're probably going to need a level 2 for that one. And then which one should we do? That one there. No. Now, I say the question is how many we can actually support. And does Twitch profit from it somehow? Maybe, I don't know. That'd be a bit insidious, I think. I'm not that sort of paranoid that Twitch is, you know, making its own bots to do the thing. I suppose you never know, but I suspect they're probably not. They're not faking, you know, faking their own numbers, I don't think. Right, so we're making how many? Good old maths. I could just slap these down until it's used up. In fact, maybe we should try that. Do it that way. Who needs maths, eh? Maths is rubbish. So connect that there. Are they all working? Yeah, they're okay, aren't they? Connect that up, connect that up, connect that up. We are going to have to put some bots in here, though, so that... Oops. Otherwise it'll fill up with hydrogen. In fact, it'll probably fill up with hydrogen anyway. So we're going to need... a slot for hydrogen. No. Hydrogen. A slot for coal. But that one's a demand. So let's put that at, say, 3,000. In fact, I'm going to put more bots in because they're doing good work. These bots doing good bots, good work. And this one is going to be plastic. I'll just let that fill up, I think. Yeah. So how are we doing? So hydrogen is flowing. I say it may well not have anywhere to go. Wow, they've already filled that belt. Crikey. There's no power on this, is there? That's unfortunate. Yeah, okay. So, why are you not doing anything? Oh, I didn't. Obviously, these don't have the things set on them, do they? There we go. Max rate calculator. I don't know if is there one for this. I don't know if I assume there probably is, but I'm sure someone's made a mod somewhere. It's one of my complaints, to be honest with you, is this production thing is kind of useless. It's, you know, it's okay as an overall picture on how things are doing, but it tends to be basically useless. You know, you can't really, particularly with power, it won't tell you what's going on with power grids. You know, specific power grids. So you can't really divide up your system into different power grids. Right, so we have plastic coming in. We are suitably fueled. Okay, so let's chuck a bunch of these in then. That's a bit annoying that it hits that thing. Maybe... some power on them anyway. Oh. Ow. That's annoying. So let's put one in. Then a power pump. Then some more. No, don't reach. Let's do 2 more. Then a power pump. Let's round it off with a 6th one. See what happens there. So it's starting to get eaten down, you see. Where is it stabilising? Is everyone working anyway? We're not having any slackers around here. So it's not really moving down, is it? Okay, so we can support a bunch more by the looks of things. Possibly more than I was anticipating. Does that make sense? It only requires 2. See if I can do the maths. So every second this produces half of a processed oil. And there's 18 of them. So we're getting 9 processed oil per second. And then plastic requires 2, but takes 3 seconds. What's an easy way of doing maths on that? So it basically requires 2/3 of one per second. And we're getting 9. So what's 2/3 of 9? Or the other way around, 3/2 of 9 is 9. Half as much again is another 4.5, 13.5, so 14 machines in theory. I mean, that sort of makes sense in a sort of a 3-to-2 ratio of these, because we do have loads of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I continued this on, it'd be out here somewhere, wouldn't it? Which I don't really want. But equally, I don't really want to double anything back. I suppose we're never going to get more oil, because I'll use the others for the graphene, I think. Excuse me. So if we put that on, that's basically consuming half of what these are making. That's 7. So we would need to double the number of these to consume it all, I believe. Oh, go on, let's do that then. So if we have a second machine, basically, here. In fact, let's just put a clean one down. We want one of them. We'll put it the other way around, maybe? Something like that. So this is going to do plastic. But it's going to output from the back end. No, that's gone across into the other machine. I hate when it does that. Let's have another go. There. Right, and then what we'll do, I think, is we'll use a splitter instead, sort of thing. In fact, I might use one of those splitters. Which way around is that? And then it's elevated in case I want to bring either of these underneath. Wrong one. Let's just use that again. And then we'll take that down to there. Take it all the way back. And then instead of what we'll do, well, oops, do that. We'll have a second output for the coal, or whatever it's called here. No, coal. To there. And have that be there. Okay, so then we can input there. And input. Yeah. Hopefully the power will cover. So that's 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7. Are you going to be powered? No, you're not powered. Of course you're not powered. Why would you be powered? In fact, let's see if we can chuck in one of them. No. One of them instead. 2 of them instead. That'll do. I don't know whether the one for the factory is great. Yeah, it's a good mod, that one, the max rate calculator. Showing the inputs on the end of the chem plants. Yeah, I think that's deliberate because of, you know, how they want you to do. Oh, that's not got any power either. How they want you to do it, sort of thing. This is a bit of a mess, this build, isn't it? But there you go. And I guess, you know, they're sort of after a bit of, you're doing a bit of variety, because these are odd shaped, you know, compared to these, compared to inserters, and compared to things. If everything was a perfect square, it'd be a bit too simple, I think. So in theory, that's going to consume all the oil. I don't think it actually will. I think we'll be we'll have some left, because you see it's sort of hanging around here, but it may take a while to stabilise. Plus, of course, it's reliant on. I guess if it works, it's fine. Yeah, there's that. There's that philosophy. I mean, as I understand it, they have introduced oil decreasing over time now. I think they've done that. I didn't set max, you know, infinite resources on the thing, so. But as I say, in fact, I think it did. Oh, it's going down. Look. Okay. So actually, we probably can't support this long term. I must have messed up the maths, because this should be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Maybe it would be 15 to use it all up. That's fine. It's basically half a belt's worth, I think. You know, we got 5,000. Sorry, you've got 1,500 plastic. That'll do. Right, let's get rid of some of this out of my inventory. No. Oh, you're not going to let me. Oh, of course I have to put it in there, don't I? Get rid of that. Let's check how we're doing on the power front. Oh, crikey. Awesome. Right, so that's the plastic. We seem to be not. Oh, I guess we are just chugging away. I think we've beaten through probably what I had as a, you know, backed up, as it were. And it's probably now into more the speed at which it's making them. The question, you see, is whether it's going to just fill up the hydrogen, because I'm not really burning the hydrogen much. Anyway, right, so that's a plastic build. Don't know why I keep hitting the map key. That's a plastic build. And that will let us make the... What do we need them? What do we need plastic for? For these. Because we need plastic, we need them green crystal lads. I don't think I am making them. But we can go to one of the other planets and just chuck some of them in. It's a really simple build. It's just smelt and then smelt. It's like the equivalent of steel, basically. It's like steel, but for silicon, essentially. So we get that set up, no problem. So this also needs carbon nanotubes. Now, carbon nanotubes, of course, are the graphene. So we need to make graphene. Now, I've already set up like a sulfuric acid production thing, but it's only one, and sulfuric acid you use surprisingly high amounts of. So we could set up another sulfuric acid build. Oh, you also happen to have fire ice on one of the planets, so that's a quick way of getting graphene as well. So sulfuric acid involves stone, you see. But it's oil, stone and water. Shall I bother with that? Let's see if we how and if we can support some production, basically. So, where would be a good place to build them? Kind of out the way would be good of any of our other bits and pieces. Actually, I think if we build them maybe down here, in this sort of space. Yeah, let's do that. So if we fill in a bit of this. Like that. I'll look for planets. Yeah, sulfuric acid lakes. Is another option. I think that's one of the reasons they sort of did that. I mean, partly. I mean, also it's cool. But I think that's why they put both the planets and, you know, the high demand for it, so that you could just, you know, pump it in out of the lakes, sulfuric acid lakes. Yeah, that's what I'm working towards. So the researches I've queued up should get us towards, you know, making warpers, and then we'll go exploring. I'm sort of hoping that what I'll try and do basically is get to the point where I've got some warpers next week. And then we'll go for basically an explore. It's going to be a weird explore because we can't upgrade the mech enough to be able to do proper full jumps. So we'll have to do like half jumps. But we got 3 planetary systems pretty close by. So we'll go and have a look at them and see what's over there. Right. So what was I going to build? I'm going to build... Do I need interstellar or can I get away with planetary? So if we're going to build these, first thing we need to set up is these. We're going to need an interplanetary then, aren't we? Yeah, so we'll pop in an interplanetary. Let's put it... I mean, at some point that'll end up being extended, I'm sure, because this has got... Well, it's only got 250,000 in it. So we'll try and stay out of the way of that. Too much. Let's put you sort of there, maybe. And then this is going to make these. So it needs to have these, and it needs to have these. So I'll make, say, I don't know, 4,000 of them. What's the ratio? 3 to 1. So let's make 2,000 of them. Grab 6,000 of them. I'd be amazed if I've got that much kicking about. It may well not be in any kind of thing we can grab it from. It might just be in a, you know, a normal chest somewhere. So we might have to sort that out. We'll leave them as supply for the moment. I'll do the actual build first. And then we want 10 of them in. Oops. 10 of them in. Cool. Not planning on blueprinting this necessarily. Certainly not now. I'll do it afterwards because I think I'm fed up with or the blueprinting. Yeah, let's in that way because only two ingredients. What's the ratio on them again? 2 and 3, 3 and 1. Wait, oh no, wrong thing. Them. 3 and 1. So if we have that level of belt coming out of there with them, and there. Then, wait, what are they made in? They're made in chemical labs. I don't think they are. We'll have a see. Will you make graphene for me? Nanotubes rather? Yes, you will. Okay. And then we'll have one of them coming around the back. And then we better have a level 2 there. And a level 1 there. Oops, no, wrong one. We'll have a... Yeah, that one. So if I flip that around, are you going to match? So you match if you're there. Okay. No, it's titanium, isn't it, at the back? It is titanium. Strange matter. It's particularly peculiar. Okay. I saw Genius Streams. I want to play DSP now. It's actually, I mean, depending on, I don't, so, game of the year and all that sort of stuff. I was prattling on about the Game Awards on Sunday, I think it might have been. I have opinions, but it always seemed really arbitrary, particularly for games. Because some of the games I love the most, I played decades after they came out, technically. It doesn't seem to make sense to do games of the year, as it were. I mean, I get it, and it's something humans are weirdly, as a bigger point, something humans do almost obsessively, create best of lists, and I wonder why we do, but yeah, if you're saying that game of the year and you're including early access titles, which some people don't, then this is my game of the year, I would say. If you're not including game of the years, it's a game called Inscription, which I don't think is perfect, but it's kind of, it's by a developer whose stuff I almost always enjoy. Let's pop 4 of these on, just because that's a power thing. And then I'll remind myself how long they take to make. So it takes, well, it's basically one every half of one a second, isn't it? So we could support loads. The question really is, so if I'm pumping out 3 there, then that only supports, because we can get 12 with that level of belt. So in theory, it's 4. Oh no, but it's every 4 seconds. We could support loads on this. It's more whether I'm producing the material than, any issues over that side of things. Why has that begun to drift further up? I guess it's the curvature of the planet, I guess. Right, again. So if I put that power... Oh no, you're not connected, are you? Let's go nuts. Let's put like 8 in or something. Or 10 in even. I should say. Copy you. It's easier. Power thing there. So yeah, it's absolutely bonkers. There's no way we can support that. Don't really care about their awards. I just play what I like. Yeah. Top 10 whatever lists tend to get lots of views. Yeah, I say it's an odd sort of... I mean, they call them listicles. Sort of in the biz, as it were. Meaning list articles. And listicles always do well. And it's not, you know, I'm not against that. Like, you know, I enjoy watching them. Not saying they're a bad thing, but ultimately it really doesn't matter. But people seem to put, is more my point, but people put so much, you know, emphasis on it, and like and things like Metacritic scores and stuff like that. It's like it matters so little. I mean, who cares? Just play what you enjoy. You know, the fact that someone gave, I don't know, Mario Kart or something 7 out of 10, or you know, whatever. Who cares? Really. If you enjoy it, then enjoy it, you know. So we got some carbon now. We got some titanium. But yeah, like I mean, I wouldn't. I was saying before, I don't get quite as nut from as some people do, but Mass Effect I played years after it came out. I've chopped the top of my head off, haven't I? I'm shifting position. I know I've got a flat head, but it's not that flat. Yeah, Mass Effect I didn't play till years after they came out. This belt's not enough then, if that's because that's not able to output, is it? It's too many machines rather than I can't. They brought it all in, but I don't think I'm not producing anywhere near that amount of graphene. It's just they're sucking it all in, basically. Right, so that gets us some carbon nanotubes. I don't know why I've hit the map button again. So we've got carbon nanotubes. We've got lots of lovely plastic. Graphene, as I said, I can sort that out myself, basically. But there is some production of graphene going on. We just need more, basically. Right, so what we need to do is go to a planet with... I have many flathead screwdrivers, lol. Not that sort of flathead, I don't think. There was one that scored badly, mainly because some critic couldn't play it. Was it Doom Eternal, maybe? Maybe. I know there was that whole thing. It wasn't a score, it wasn't a review or anything, but Cuphead. There was that, video of a journalist not being able to play it, sort of thing. But he specifically sort of said in that video, I'm not, I like games. I don't do reviews, and then people just absolutely slated it. But yeah, I think Doom Eternal was one. I mean, I'll be honest, I struggled with Doom Eternal initially. The whole jumping mechanic really took me a long time to grok, to properly understand. The thing where it sort of worked for me, as it were, that I sort of was able to do it, is the realization it was incredibly generous with because you're used to platformers being like precision platformers. If I'm trying to jump onto this thing, you have to land perfectly on that thing. But Doom Eternal's not like that. It's like basically if you're vaguely somewhere near it, then Doom Guy just reaches out and grabs the ledge, even if they basically break the physics of Doom Guy's physique, in that he often reaches out and grabs a ledge when he physically couldn't do that because he's not long enough. but they, you know, they just let you grab that ledge, or like the bars and stuff when you swing round on them. And once I had that into my head that I didn't have to hit everything precisely dead on, it would just sort it out for me. Then it, you know, I really enjoyed it. But I say I wouldn't say it clicked with me instantly, because it's also alien to Doom. I mean, the first, you know, the early games, you couldn't even jump at all, could you? I don't think. In fact, you couldn't. Was it Doom or Wolfenstein where you couldn't actually look up? You know. So not only could you not jump, you couldn't even look up. Right, so I have actually, I have unlocked the fiber. Yeah, I've unlocked the fibers, so we can make some of these, but we need to go to a planet with silicon on and build some of them. See, we've got lots of drones flying around now. So I exploited. What I did was during the week was I exploited a lot of these planets. So you've got 9 million silicon, and you've only got 4.5. So we'll go to you. Let's make sure. Oh, wrong button. Let's make sure we've got everything we need. We've got plenty of drones. We've got plenty of them. We've got mines. We've got loads of smelting. That's what we need mostly. Got good amount of belt. Have I got power? Let us top that back up. And I can actually grab... Oh no, it's the other one. Let's just leave it. I've got enough power there. Right, off we go. What I can actually do, because obviously the higher level fuels give you better recharging and refueling, so it's sort of worth popping them in basically. Okay. Perfect platform in Doom. Yeah, I die a lot. Yeah, I say it's really clever. I mean, you know, I'm not sure that the Doom engine is. What do they call it? I can never remember what they call the Doom engine. It's like one of the best engines there is. It's phenomenal. The scalability of it is incredible. You can literally, you know, you can play on a potato, basically, a rubbish, you know, machine by any other standards, and you'll get like, you know, 120 FPS out of it. It's just one of the best engines that's ever been made. But yeah, they're incredibly clever with how they do a lot of this stuff. And you know, from that included game systems where, you know, it achieves that thing of making you feel powerful, you know, which is, you know, the whole point of that sort of game. Without you realizing that it's doing a lot of things, you know. You know, it makes you think you're doing them rather than it doing them effectively, which is an incredible achievement for game design. I think the OG Wolfenstein was built in a 2D engine. Some clever game design, tricky. Yeah, I say I think I'm pretty sure both. Well, certainly, Wolfenstein you couldn't even aim up, and I don't think it even had height to it, did it? I think that was the thing with Wolfenstein. But then Doom, they faked height effectively in that there were bits and pieces, because you couldn't jump off of platforms, but you could sort of run off them, and you certainly couldn't jump up to them. You had to climb stairs all the time. But yeah, they made it so if you shot, you know, you couldn't aim up, but if a monster was on a higher level, it would hit the, you know, just sort of assumed you were pointing up in a sense. Right, so let's find some of this silicon. We're right next to some, actually. Let's get a big one, though. 1.1. 1.1. Let's grab both of those, actually. That's perfect. Right. Ah, 60 FPS from an actual potato. I say, you know, it is phenomenal what they've done. That engine. And it was, I don't, you know, they when they did that press conference with both, you know, Bethesda and Microsoft. The one where they were sat around, and it was quite noticeable what that one of the things that Phil Spencer basically said was, you know, he kind of couldn't wait to get his hands on the, you know, the engine basically, because I mean, I'm not a Halo. I don't, you know, Halo doesn't. I know some people love it and it means a lot to them. Halo doesn't really mean a lot to me, but Halo is basically Doom. I mean, the guy's even a green guy in power armor. I mean, how much more obvious can you get? But you can even tell, like Halo Infinite, when you see it playing, it's basically like cribbing a lot off of Doom Eternal, because they got like the grapple hook and that sort of thing. So I imagine they're like, well, what could we do with, you know, that Doom engine for a Halo game sort of thing. 2, 4, 6, so we want 2 more. Even it up a bit. Let's... If I chuck it all in... Do I need raw silicon? I don't really need raw silicon, do I? No, so let's do a smelting array. Like... Do I need raw silicon? I don't think I need raw silicon for anything, do I? Well, let's just check it. Yeah, I don't think I'm putting it in anywhere, basically. So let's just have it available. Use it like a storage box, basically. Right, so we'll have basically raw silicon going in here. Let's have it... Where are we going to put it? Let's put it here. Is that going to work? In fact, let's put it there. So we'll have all of the raw silicon going in here at the top. And then we'll have the smelting coming out the sides. And so you need to do like a double smelt thing for these guys. So we'll have that being the input. I could feed them in directly, actually, thinking about it. Because basically it takes you 2 silicon go in and you get a silicon bar, and then one goes in, but it takes 2 seconds. So both recipes take 2 seconds, and so effectively you can feed, you know, 2 raw silicon in and get them out, basically. So you don't actually need these as such, but I could feed them in anyway. Now let's do direct smelting. Yeah, let's do it that way. Right, so we want, in fact, let's set. Come on, set these. So we want that, and then we're going to get them. Yeah, that'll do. Right, so. You out of there, going that way. Does that make sense? It might be easier doing it the other way around, actually. So if we, oops, feed that in there, and have this be the output. Oops. And that be the output. Is that going to make sense? That's not going to make sense, is it? If I'm feeding it indirectly. Better if that's the silicon coming out of there. And then we have, so put a little gap. So this is our first smelter. And then it just feeds directly into a smelter next to it. Two, that's not too close, come on. How is that too close? You're taking the mickey there. Seriously, that's too close. I think we're too high up on the planet, basically. That's annoying. In that case, we could presumably put a belt through there. An output there. There you go. I'll teach you to tell me I'm too close. Right. Wrong one. That one. And then this one wants an input. No. This one wants an input. And that one wants an input. Cool. I like the first Halo and Halo Wars games, but lost interest in later games. Cool. I don't. In all honesty, I mean, I've technically played Halo, the first Halo, but when it came to PC, so it was years and years later. And in all honesty, I didn't really enjoy it very much. I think I only played like an hour. Partly, I suspect that was because, I mean, my PC at the time was just complete bobbins, so I wouldn't want to put all of that down to, let's make this look a bit pretty. Or a bit more sort of tidy. Like that. No, don't put it there. I say, so it could well have been a, you know, not really enjoying it because, you know, the experience of it isn't all that good, sort of thing. Let's do it that way around. But yeah, I didn't particularly. I seem to remember the driving was atrocious, and it sort of dropped you in quite early into a sort of a driving section. And the I don't even know what the vehicle was. It might have been a Warthog, I guess. It was just like bouncy and floaty and just horrible to drive. And so that's my sort of overriding memory of Halo, basically. It's just terrible vehicle driving. But I'm sure they fixed that. Can I get power into everything here? If I do one there. Let's do one like there. Or there even. No, there. And then one there. Is everyone powered? In fact, can I get away with more? Come on. How much are you covering? You might be able to do one more. Maybe. Yeah? So it's giving me the red icon telling me it's covered. I've not put any recipes on these, have I? Yeah. You there. You there. Okay, so these need to be regular old silicon smelting. And then these are the old crystal lads. I'd like to give the Halo Wars, you know, I'd like to give them all a go because, like I said before, I've got Game Pass, so effectively they're all sort of free. That's on the wrong side then, isn't it? If we're trying to make it at least somewhat even and symmetrical. Particularly, obviously, the Halo Wars are, you know, strategy games, aren't they? So probably more my cup of tea, full stop, really. But yeah, I'd like to give them all a go. I understand it's got absolutely bonkers lore. That in fact, I think it shares a lot of like lore similarities with Mass Effect, doesn't it? Where it's, you know, precursor races and all this sort of stuff, which is always fun. Now we've got 3, 6, 7 there, haven't we? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, 8. So I've got 16 machines. And probably... How about, in fact, actually, why don't I feed them in there? Let's go a bit weird. Let's do... Oops. Are you going there? You will. On the Doom thing, is Doom 3 a Doom game? Yeah, I would say. I mean, is that a controversial point then? I think it probably is. I mean, I always thought of Doom 3 as more like just like a remake of Doom 1. I mean, and Doom 2 was basically just a remake. Well, it was more levels for Doom 1, wasn't it? So I never really, it seemed more like, well, it's almost like Doom 2016 in the sense that it's, essentially the same idea of the game. Um, you know, but I mean, it's much more horror based. I would say it's sort of, ramps up the horror side of it. So it tries to be scary, where Doom was just almost like incidentally scary. You see what I mean? It's sort of horror elements rather than actual. I don't ever remember Doom deliberately trying to be scary as such. Not Doom, 1 and 2. Whereas Doom 3 tries to be scary with jump scares and stuff. How many am I going to compress these down into? We could do, say, 3 there. So if I got 16, that doesn't divide into 3, does it? So maybe if I take one of them out somewhere. Maybe that one. And that gives us 15. And then I've effectively got 5 going into 3 slots. Sorry, 5 each, basically. So can we do that in some way? So maybe these 5. I'm sort of being a bit silly with this. Isn't really a good way of doing it, but whatever. Let's just get on with it. Yeah, I think Doom 3 is a Doom game. It's a different Doom game, Maybe I'm sort of viewing that with too much of my own, because I found Doom 3 scary. I mean, looking back on it, I watched someone play through a bit of it not that long ago, and it was it looked horrible. I remember it being. It's that thing, isn't it, where we see a game that in your head had the most amazing graphics ever, and then you see it and it's just some square blocks running around. Basically, it's like another one that I found that with was Metal Gear, where it, you've seen Metal Gear 1 and 2 as well now, Metal Gear Solid, and it just looks naff, like I thought this looked amazing at the time. Right, so 1 in there. Is that 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those 3 are all together. We've got those 2 hooked up, so in fact, let's take that out there. That out there. Out there. See what sort of. Oh, there we go. Gravitational lenses, super duper. Can I get that all to line up? Bit of a fan of the diagonal belts now. I wasn't sure about them to start with, but I really quite like them. I think they look really good. So you're going to have to go down the middle, aren't you? Oh, that's annoying. Right, so if you go down the middle, and I can connect that there, and that there, and then that in there. Let that chunk through a bit. I had an Xbox, the first one, which was when I played a lot Halo. At the time we were more forgiving of little buggy bits, yeah. So it's that thing, it's like the GTA, remasters that they recently did. Obviously they were, they're a cash grab, basically. A lot more to do with 2K than Rockstar themselves, I think. But as well as being buggy, atrocious messes, they didn't really change the gameplay that much. They did a few tweaks. But it was just of the sort of scale. It was the sort of thing where you played them through and you remember the missions being great. In fact, I said this. There's a really good article someone wrote, sort of explaining this point. And what you have in your head of how good GTA missions, GTA 3, etc. missions were, is not matched by reality. And it's because games have moved on so much that like a lot of what seemed like good gameplay design at the time just isn't, and it's it's like the classic problem a lot of RPGs, Western RPGs have, where it's all RPGs, where it's just a string of fetch quests and stuff, and it's just like it's actually fairly boring. It's just you remember it, better than it was, effectively. Right, so this is obviously way too much smelting for this level of bell. Since I've got 3 coming in, can I upgrade this further? Have I got enough belt to do that? Because it shouldn't eat a level 3 bell. Looks like I probably need to... No, we're getting 6 and... Yeah, they're all running. 30 a minute. Cool. Yeah, cool. And then we can basically double that up. Just put one on the other side that's exactly the same, because we should have more than enough stuff coming in. We can see this stuttering. Right, so this wants to be, say, 5,000. Now I might as well chop that down to 2,500. Let's keep that as storage. Put them in. Them. My views are different, but I do think Doom 3 is a good game, but needed more action to be a Doom game. Yeah, it looked good in the day. Yeah, so I saw this thing on it recently, and it looked it just looked like looked bad basically. I mean, it didn't look terrible, but it was like at the time my memory of it, and I say this is the thing, your memory just turns it into the most amazing thing. It's like your imagination fills in all the gaps. I might say my memory of it at the time is it just looks so realistic, and and then seeing it again, as it were, it was like, wow, that looks, it's like that thing where you see these asset flip games, where they've just bought the things, so out of those level belts. Okay. So I won't add that in then. There's no real point. But yeah, so we got some of them now. Yeah, you get those asset flip games, and it's basically, they just look atrocious. And it's just all bought assets and that sort of thing, and it looked like that. But obviously it's because, things have moved on so much. It's not actually bad looking. Is that everything? So we've now got carbon nanotubes, we've got, because these are plastic, and we've now got these, so we can make the particle broadbands. Why am I doing particle broadbands? I've forgotten what I'm even doing. I'm making particle broadbands so that I can make information matrix, because that then gives me purple cubes. And purple cubes we're going to need for something important. Not them. What do I need? Oh, I need purple cubes for the upgrades, don't I? Yeah. There we go. That's what I need purple cubes for. So that we can get the mecha a bit more junky, a bit more powerful, so that flying between solar systems is not as painful. It's good someone remembered the plan, eventually. Okay, so let's head back home. How are we doing time-wise? 6:37. Wrong button. Where are you? Okay. Imagination fills the gaps and you're out of practice more than games. Yeah, that's a good point actually. Graham, it's maybe we're too spoilt now. We're too because things do look amazing. I don't know if you saw have you seen the Matrix, whatever it's called, Enter the Matrix demo thing? People have been. I mean, I'm pretty sure like all of it is CG. Every single bit of it, but there's a bit at the beginning where old Keanu and whatever her name is, Carrie-Anne Moss? Did I just bounce off the planet? They're like talking, about what the demo is, and it's sort of meant to be messing with your head. And it's actually quite difficult to tell which bits are CG and which are real. And I think all of it is CG, but I'm not convinced, and that some bits of it might be real. But I think they voiced it, obviously, and that every single bit of it is CG. But it looks phenomenal, And obviously that's had the kitchen sink thrown at it, and it's... Although it does go into actual open world gameplay. Eventually. And that looks really good, although not as good as the pre-rendered cut. Oh, I've still got them. That's annoying. As a pre-rendered cutscene. And it's like... It's getting into that territory where they're past the... the uncanny valley thing, where something looks artificial, and something looks real and less real and less real. And then you get to a point where it's disturbing, that you can't quite tell if it's real and you can't quite tell if it's fake. And that triggers things in your brain, basically, and you don't like it, and like on an instinctive level, and you can't quite put your finger on it, but it just feels horrible. And they've kind of got over that point, certainly in that pre-rendered stuff. And obviously they've been there with films for a while, and if you eventually throw enough sort of processing power at it, you get something realistic. If you render it out for a week per frame sort of thing, you can get something realistic. But obviously that's not practical for a game. Oh, did I not even set up? Huh. Where have I got them from then? Did I just hand make them? Okay. Well, there we go. I need a few of these. Top this off. Everything else I'm fine with, I think. But yeah, it looks phenomenal. And it's like, as you say, to some extent, you lose that thing of using your imagination, I guess, if everything just looks realistic. You don't need to fill in the gaps. It's just there, and it's, looks real. Where are we going to put these then? Makes sense, I guess, to add this into science. Where the heck is... Oh, here we go. Here's science. Because I have left a slot, I think, for purple. Here we go. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Yeah, the Uncanny Valley. It's quite a... When you actually see... It's like there was... I remember it from... I don't know if you remember Tomorrow's World? It might not have been Tomorrow's World. But they had like... It was some documentary or something then. Where they had like robots, basically. And they were the most realistic robots anyone had made, sort of thing. And they were very realistic. Realistic as in looking like human faces. But it was really disturbing. It was really unpleasant to look at. And you could sort of tell they were fake, but if you just looked at them, like you might look at someone sat on the tube or something, then you did end up thinking they were real. But as soon as they started like talking, because it's obviously motors and stuff. So if you're going to make purple, you need those two, both of which we can fly in now, you see. But how many of these do we need? They take 10 seconds each. Did I end up doubling this up? No, it's just one. So I need 10 of these basically, and I've got one. How many more can I make? So make 9. And that'll sort us out. But yeah, it was interesting effect where it was like you just ended up thinking, oh, I don't like that, and you sort of didn't know why. Right, so if we have that go on a belt and feed in there. In fact, it might need to be a high level inserter, I guess. And then we have... Where have I been putting the power? Oh, just sort of wherever. Okay. Make sure it's got all them on. And then... Might as well have a bit of the old... wind. That's too close, isn't it? Where am I going to put the... Let's put the... Whatchamacallit down. Is that lined up? So there we go. Let's put you there. And then I think I have to move these. So this is going to request up processors. What? And these guys. So we need to go and make them, basically. In fact, what we could do, thinking about it, is we could make them here, couldn't we? Yeah, let's make them here. So we want to request in... I've kind of given up all notion of leaving spaces for warpers in these. So if we make... We need plastic, we need that, and we need... that. Now, how many do they take? So it's 8 seconds. Wow. So we need, say, 442. So maybe 2,000, 4,000, 4,000, 1,000. And then is it 1-to-1 on this? Nope, 2-to-1. So this needs to be 2,000. Okay. So then we have output here of that. Output there. Of that. Oops. Feed that in. That in. That in. That in. More power. Cool. And then we want this to connect to here. Right. So if I need... What are they made in? So making them... Made in assemblers. Okay. Okay. So on 8 a second. Okay. Okay. Let's put them here. Except it's... I need more than 8, don't I? Because it's... Well, I could... In fact, why don't I just go straight for these? So, that one there. Then a gap. Yeah. And then we need... Say, what's the ratio? So, if you're making them... 2, 2, 1. Okay. Pop that on there. Say them. There. Oh. Them. And then feed them back that way. Oops. Okay, and then it's bound to need higher level things because of the distance. Awesome. Let's put another one in. See if we can get away with... Yeah, I want to. And then we want another block of 2. But can I get 4 maybe? No. To there. To there. 2, 2, 4, 6. 8. 8. Cool. Let's just leave a little bit. Awesome. So this one needs to have some bots in it. And take that them. That also then needs to become demand. 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 This needs to become demand. And that's supply. Okay, let's let it chunk through. See if we can make some people. Some people. Yeah, I did cap that. Oh, yeah. Interstellar whatchamacallit thingy? Why is nothing coming out of here? Oh, it is now. What about this? Why is nothing coming out of there? Because it's still in transit. They're lazy, these bots, you see. You've got to keep an eye on them. It's amazing how good news can lift your spirits. It's feeling fairly miserable all weekend. Waiting for the announcement, as it were, as to what was going on. And now that it's all positive, although actually it's negative, but it's all positive. That's really lifted my mood, if I'm honest. It's weird, actually. I was really productive today. And I think it was because I was... Oh, well, there we go. First purple. You produced your first information matrix on 423704. I don't know what that means. It's one of the 5 source codes that maintain the operation of the center brain. And in the world of information, everything is under control. A huge information network brings all production bases together to form a large industrial empire. That's not a bad one, that. It's, so I don't know if they've got someone to sort of tweak some of their text and stuff, but those aren't too bad, those ones. I mean, we'll basically just eat through. We've only got tiny production, a lot of these, so it's going to, you know, run out of stuff fairly rapidly. And I can just add in more things, you know. It's like we could put another row of these on the side here, but, you know, and build up a stockpile of them because we're going to need them for other things. But ultimately, this whole science thing is going to go. Probably end up with a planet somewhere that's doing science, basically. Or, you know, making all the cubes and all that. Anyway, they'll stack up. That's how purple... Oh, they're feeding them in, aren't they? That's interesting. So they're feeding them in, even though... A bit like the Factorio ones. They're not actually... We're not doing a purple research, so they're not using it. We will, however, stack up... Or add on to the stack... These two. So we want this one to be able to see what's going on those planets, to see which one's going to be the most interesting to visit. It's very expensive, and so we'll do this one first because then we can queue up the others. I think we can do... Oh no, that's green. Okay, so queue up that one because then we can add on the frame. Well, the frame's not important, but the energy circuit and the drive engine. Because it's this one we need to actually do the warping. So what I would do during the week, basically, is get this ready to go. And I'll build some warpers and all that sort of stuff. Because there's only about 5 minutes or so left. So there's no way I'm going to make some warpers during the week. Sorry, no way I'm going to make them in 5 minutes. But what I might do is I might set it up but not actually make any. And then first thing we do next week is actually build them and head off. But I'll do all the, you know, the techs and stuff, because 2,000's a lot. You know, they get quite expensive, the techs. But yeah, we can't actually do that one until this one is finished. It has a prerequisite. It doesn't show it as a line, but there's a prerequisite on you finishing Mechacore 4, I think. Yeah, it must be, because it lets me do it now. Yeah. And so that will let us warp, but I say we need to do this one first, and we can't do that one until we do purple. And that was the plan. I didn't really explain the plan properly. There we go. What I'm also doing here, just I don't know that I'll do it, but we might go on. I might go on. What we might start off next week with, say, while it makes some warpers, is put some gas giant ones on, because we don't want a lot at this stage, but that will get us whatever's on our gas giant, which I can't remember. What have we got on there? So there we go, more fire ice and hydrogen. And the fire ice you turn into... No, fire ice you turn into... Which one is it? There you go. Graphene and hydrogen, you see. So we can get even more hydrogen now. And hydrogen becomes a bit of a limiting thing, because basically, to make these strange matter, we need deuterium and these lads. So they're quite expensive. I'm not sure if I'm making them or not. So we're only going to make a handful, but we're going to need a load of deuterium, sort of thing. Because you need them. The space warpers require a strange matter each. And as you see, they need 10 deuterium. So I'm going to have to ramp up deuterium production as well. But we don't need a lot of warpers. We just need, like, I don't know, 20 or something, and that'll get us around the solar systems. Having first world problems that my mother-in-law has tidied away my keyboard charging cable. Tidying is like, no, don't, you know. Tidying is never the way to go. I've got well, tidying is the way to go, but you have to do it in. I find out I only really enjoy doing it if it's en masse. And I have to build up to it, so you know, things go in drawers and things go in boxes in drawers and just get stuck away, basically. And then when I get to the stage where there is no living room, and I have to deal with it, then I have a massive clear out. I had when I moved from where was it? I can't remember which move it was, but when I moved, one of my moves, I had to tidy up and sort out my computer stuff because it's obviously quite heavy, you know, computer, and driving it across was going to be a pain in the bum. And it was like I just chucked it all into some crates to move it, and there were like 6 crates, and I was like, that's a ridiculous amount of stuff to move. I'll have a sort out. And I had, how many was it? I think it was 35 USB cables. It was something like that, and I was like, how have I got so many USB cables? Obviously there were different end connectors. It's quite ironic that USB was developed to be, what's called a universal serial bus, and it was developed so that you wouldn't need any other cables. And then they proceeded to do USB-A, USB-B, USB-C, USB Type 1, USB Type 2, and it's all like these different versions of USB. And it's like, sorry, wasn't the whole point of USB that we would just need one cable? But yeah, I remember having that in particular, and I had basically every type of monitor connecting cable that you can possibly have ever owned, like right the way back to you know, CRT monitors with you know, TV type connectors on them. I had every single type of cable, but I didn't have those monitors anymore, so I've been keeping all these cables just in case, and also because tidying is not me, you know. And I ended up, I ate these 8 boxes, and I threw like 4.5 of them away, basically. Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit of a pack rat, basically. Not like you see these TV shows where they're, you know, world's biggest hoarder and all that sort of stuff. It's not that sort of scale, but I say there are literally packing crates full of stuff that I've kept just in case, because then if I didn't, I'd have to do tidying, and I hate tidying. I think that's it for today. We got the purple set up. It's quite good timing, actually. So we got the purple set up. It's chunking away making some. Obviously, it's this one where we suddenly start actually using them. So, I say during the week, I will basically continue on with this save, and I will set us up so that we're ready to make warpers. I don't think I'll make the warpers. We'll set that going, but I'll also do this. I'll get some of these. I'll probably end up just hand making them, basically. And I'll boost up the things I need to boost up in order for us to get the warpers in a relatively sensible time. I say, because the big thing is the deuterium, and how you make the particle warpers is a bit heavy on power. We should be okay with power now, but I might need to add in some more. Oh, I say that. We've not got that much spare power because it's really heavy. You have to use these guys because they're made in the particle collider, and the particle, each one consumes 12 megawatts, which, if you think about it, is basically a fusion power thing each, and you need a good few of these to get to make stuff, basically. We can use these ones, the fractionator, to get the deuterium, but we'll need a couple of them because the recipe on that is really slow, isn't it? So that's 8 seconds, and then that's 6 seconds. So just to make one is almost like 14 seconds, effectively. Which, if we need 20, that's like 5 minutes or something. Oh, sorry. You turn the lenses into. You then turn the lenses into the space warpers. So that's another 10-second process. So overall, just getting, you know, a stack of them takes a good, you know, 10-15 minutes, basically. Yeah, so we'll get that all set up, and not with the intention of using them to go, you know, do interstellar system logistics yet, but next time we'll go exploring. I think that's a good place to sort of end the stream for the year, I think. So what we'll probably end up doing is going and looking at these three, if we can. I say, those times I think are based on you travelling. If you set off now with, you know, just the power, just at max speed, it would take 40 minutes to get there. But with warpers, it just cuts it down to 5 minutes. But what will happen is we'll get about halfway, and our battery will run out, and so we'll have to sit and wait. And it's one of the reasons I've set up this production for these, because these are a lot quicker recharging the mech basically. So we'll basically have all of them and all of them, and so we'll be able to get to each of these three star systems. Interestingly, we do have the black hole and neutron star nice and close together, and they're only, in quotes, 12 light years away and 15 light years away. So that's actually doable with just basic warpers. It could be, you know, 4 or 5 trips, and we don't want to get stuck without any warpers. But that's kind of doable, in all honesty, from experience. So yeah, so that's it for today. If you've been watching, I hope you've enjoyed it, and you might consider coming back for another one. I've been working away on a couple of other series. So Satisfactory is on a Friday. I've been getting that to the state where we can finish off Fixmas, the Fixmas event, which should be next Friday. I mean, it lasts until January or something, but we can unlock everything now. So I'm hopefully ready to do that on Friday. Saturdays and Sundays I stream Factorio. I'm doing started a new series where I'm going to attempt to build aesthetic bases, but I ran into a big problem with biters. Basically, pollution seems to be a massive pollution issue. What I think I need to do, and it might be one of the mods that's done it, massively increase the pollution. I have a installed a mod that is for cleaning up pollution. So if I get that up and running, we can start sucking the pollution out of the air rather than killing off all the biters. So I need to get that up and running, I think, is what I've realised. And what I think is maybe that mod increases the amount of pollution production in order to give you a reason to use it. Anyway, so that's Saturday and Sunday. So hopefully we'll get all of that sorted out and we're able to move on to making a bus this coming weekend. Then Monday will be this series again, and I say we will go exploring and have a bit of fun, see if we can find some of the weird planets. Probably not, they tend to be about the edges, but maybe there'll be a sulfuric acid planet or something like that. And that'll be it for me for the year then. So then I will not stream Christmas weekend or New Year's Day weekend. So yeah, so I say if you've been watching, I hope you enjoyed it and you might consider coming back for another one. I've been Trismegistus. This has been Dyson Sphere Program. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a good bath time with the kids. See you later. Cheers.